probably should have put my microphone on for this. Oh my gosh, it's bumpy. We're heading north out of Victoria on Highway 1. And our plan is for us to go to the Malahat Skywalk, which is a 250 metre tall structure with a gentle spiral walk up it. Apparently you can come down on a very long slide, which I'm hoping is open in the winter. Unfortunately, it's really foggy in patches, so if it's not worth going up because there won't be a view from the top, we'll have to change our plans and go somewhere else. We shall see. It's a very scenic drive. Mostly trees, but it's nice to get out of the city. We just stopped at this viewpoint to have a little pee break. We're nearly there. There's an awful lot of low cloud down there. I have a feeling we should be able to see water, but we can't. At least it's not foggy just here. And I think I feel rain. Damn. Oh well, keeping our fingers crossed. And here we are. It's a little colder here. I think we might be a little further above sea level than we were in Victoria. That's clever. There's some really clever sculptures here made from driftwood. It's an owl made out of driftwood. We're on a bridge, I'm guessing about 50 feet above the forest floor. Oh, I love this. It's cool and damp and mossy. There's a sound of running water. And it's really nice to be out in nature and away from the city for a little while. And the driftwood sculptures are amazing. We have to keep an eye out, see if we can see any more. There are lots of these trees with red bark and peeling bark, and we had to do a Google lens to figure out what they are. They're arbutus. Now listen to the noise in the background. We think it might be toads or frogs. If you can hear that. This is what we were learning about when we went to the IMAX theatre the other day. All about the mycelium. We're getting a glimpse of the skywalk now. You can just about see it. There's enough break in the cloud we can actually see the water. We're just starting on the spiral walkway.
We were just recently closed for...
Looking up the middle of the structure, There's a spiral staircase that goes down the middle and a slide. I have a feeling we're going to want to slide down if we can. Okay, we're at the top. This is the 360. The cloud has built up more since we started climbing, but it's still rather impressive. And the higher I've been getting, the stronger the feeling in the pit of my stomach that I shouldn't be here. Because it's, even though you know you're safe, it's kind of terrifying. There's even a net which you can go on and look all the way down. All the way down to the bottom. It definitely goes against the grain to be on this mesh, and I'm only partly on it because it's scary. This is the view you get on a clear day. Right now, we're above the clouds. A lot of clouds. We were just up there and we did the slide down, which was kind of scary but kind of fun too. We decided to take the alternative way back to the gift shop. Of course there's a gift shop. And use the hiking trail. Glad I've got my waterproof hikers on, is all I can say. I love how dark it is under the trees and how there's moss on everything and there are ferns. Oh. It's mid-afternoon and we are back in the apartment. We were out fairly early this morning. We drove to the Malahat Skywalk. Now this is a tourist attraction, I guess you have to call it, which is a massive structure, which is a big, round, tall thing with a gently sloping spiral walkway. You'll have already seen the footage I took earlier, so what I'm saying now is probably redundant. But it's got a fantastic tree walk where the bridge is basically like 50 or more feet above ground level, and it gets higher the closer you get to the structure. And then you go around and round and round, and it gets higher and higher and higher to get to the top. And the higher I went, the more I could feel my stomach tightening up with nerves. And I'm like, I know I'm safe. I know I'm safe. And nothing bad's going to happen. But still, you know, the higher you get, the more nervous you can get. There was a safety net. They call it a safety net, that or a platform, I guess you'd call it, which was just a net with big holes in it, and then a secondary net underneath, because there is a possibility you could drop something small, like a phone, between the strands of the first layer. So I guess the small net is for catching anything that slips through. And of course, my husband, who I'm now calling Mr. Stitches, whether he likes that or not, he just went out to the middle of it and lay down looking at the sky. And I'm like, really? I lay flat on my stomach and peeked over the edge, and I got a little bit of film, but it was kind of terrifying because it's a long way down. So that was the main activity for today. That's what we meant to do. We went early enough that we did get some sort of a view as we were coming down, and we did the slide down, which I was, again, not sure about, but actually was kind of fun. The fog rolled in even more, so we definitely went at the right time. If we'd waited till later, it probably would have been a waste of time. And then we did the hiking trail back that went through the woods a different way from the way we went to it on the Tree Walk Bridge. At the end of that, at the gift shop, I bought a few little things, just little things. I got 5 coasters. Now, this Malahat Skywalk, it's on Indigenous land. They're supporting the local Indigenous population, and the lady who we spoke to mostly while we were there was native. And when I got to the gift shop, I bought these native print, not placemats, coasters. I was going to get 4, and then my husband said, oh, you should get 5, because there's 5 of us in the family, and if we're all sitting around the table, we need 5 coasters. So I did. I didn't need to be convinced. So that was that. And then we were done there by about 11:30, and then I thought it would be a good idea to go up to Duncan, which was about another half an hour drive north. I know we've been to Duncan before, but it was a long, long time ago. So we found the downtown area. We had a cup of coffee. Not that great of a cup of coffee, to be honest. A gingerbread latte, but it wasn't very well made and it didn't taste quite right, but oh well. And then I did a bit of Googling to see what else was around, and there was a yarn shop. I think it was called All Tied Up, something like that. I got a tiny bit of film of the outside. And while I was there was lots of lovely yarn, and a lot of it I would have used because, you know, it was cotton or synthetic or a blend. But I did not buy yarn, but I did find some embroidery thread. In fact, if she'd have had more cross-stitch kits there, I would have bought a cross-stitch kit. She did have some that were Christmas stockings, and they were very, very intricate, far more complicated than I want to tackle. Like this little one here that I've been making, that's manageable. So I had to guess on the color. I just bought the lightest blue that she had, and I think it'll work fine. I've really just got to do those 8 little crosses down the chest of the dog, and I think 1 in the foot there somewhere, which I missed the first time around. So I think it'll be fine. So that's good. If I have time, I won't have to wait until I get home to finish that off. So the plan now, have a cup of tea, kettle's on, and we're going to have a meal in tonight. We just had Cliff Bars and banana for lunch. We just had Cliff Bars and bananas for lunch while we were out. And so we're going to make ourselves some spaghetti and sauce and salad for dinner. Sadly, Frickin' Delight's Donuts was closed again. So our donut craving will not be satisfied again. But if we have time, we could always pop over to Green Cuisine for something. As long as we get to the Belfry Theatre by 7:30. Actually, we need to get there earlier than that because we need to figure out where we're going to park. It's a little out of town. It's only a short drive. Took us about half an hour to walk it yesterday to pick up the tickets. But it should only be like a 5 or 10 minute drive. And as long as we can find parking space, all will be well. There's not a lot of parking around there, and there could potentially be 275 ticket holders going to see the show. I don't know if I'll be able to get any footage of the show tonight because sometimes they'll ask you not to do any filming or photography. But it's called Wonderheads, and it's a Christmas carol. And there is no talking. I'm presuming there's going to be some sort of music. These Wonderheads are apparently like 10-foot tall puppets, presumably with people inside. Anyway, I'm not sure. We will see. We booked this quite some time ago, so we don't really know what to expect. Okay. That's all I have to say for now. I'm going to put this on my app and get things edited as far as I can, because by the time we get back from the theatre, it'll probably be quite late and I might be a little tired, and I want to get the last bit uploaded and put it onto YouTube before it gets too late tonight. A last bit of waffling before I finish up for today. We're back from the Belfry Theatre, and this is what we went to see. It was called A Wonderhead's Christmas Carol. So the story obviously was Scrooge and Bob Cratchit and Tiny Tim, but without any speaking. The people wore masks and there were a couple of puppets involved, so it was an interesting way of presenting it, and we really enjoyed it. Even though there was no speaking, there was some humour there and some drama, and the backdrops were changed with the use of light projection, and there was a unique soundtrack that went with it, most of which was Christmas music, because obviously it's set at Christmas time. I did get a tiny bit of film at the very beginning and end because I didn't want to film while they were in session. But yeah, you'll just have to take my word for it. It was a good show. So we're going to have a herbal tea now and no doubt get to bed soon. So that's the end of Vlogmas day 6. Yeah, I had to think about that. Day 6. We don't have any specific plans for the next 2 days, except do more walking and find some good places to eat again. I'll say good night. Bye for now.